the effort by the Kenya government to stop the Americans from giving weapons to Somalia.
Yes.
To defend itself. Actually,
Yes.
the weapons were mainly for defensive purposes.
Yes.
By then, the Somalis had come out of the Ogaden, what they used basically was Russian weapons to fight. Yeah.
No, my recollection is slightly different.
Yes.
The issue of the weapons. Because I remember when Andrew Young was fired for talking to the Palestinians.
Yes.
By Jimmy Carter. He came to the university where I was as a student, graduate student. And so we introduced each other, and then they said, oh, okay, so you don't want us to give guns to the Somalis? You know, so I said, no, we don't.
Yes.
And then he just smiled, and of course they went ahead and did it. You know. So the point is that when the interest of the big power or any country are at play, small countries don't count. Huh? So we did whatever we could.
And our relation with the Americans.
With America, to be good.
But that's when we got the F5Es. I remember very well.
We got them a little earlier.
Yes, a little earlier.
Yeah, Munene Yaki is the one who
you pushed for them.
did it in a very peculiar way.
Yes.
And listen to him explain how he did it.
Yes.
Very, very interesting.
Yes.
And it goes back to Henry Kissinger.
Mm-hmm.
You know the time when Kissinger visited this country?
He visited here, and even Nixon visited here.
Nixon never did.
You're sure?
Yeah.
I thought Nixon did visit Kenya.
No. Maybe his vice president, Spiro Agnew. But Nixon never did. But Kissinger was now the globe-trotting after being messed up in Angola. So you link up the Angola.
After having lost to MPLA in Angola,
they got messed up in Angola.
Now it's a
That's
socialist.
when Kissinger became now.
It's a socialist, what do you call it, or Eastern.
The victory on that side.
Yes.
So now they have to recoup that. And Kissinger went around Africa saying how concerned they are about. And he came to Kenya. And Munene Yaki received him as a Minister of Foreign Affairs, because they are both Ministers of Foreign Affairs. He talked, and they went to see Kenyatta. And they were pictured Kissinger and Kenyatta dancing.
Yeah. That's the one I remember. The picture I remember very well.
They were dancing, and then had small talks, and then Kissinger left. That was cultural diplomacy at play. Then later, Munene Yaki goes to Washington, sent by Kenyatta. And the message was, Kenya needs jet fighters. It needs jet fighters to defend itself.
From Somalia, of course.
Not Somalia. The argument was, if you looked at the neighborhood,
both Uganda.
Yeah, if you look at Tanzania, it was socialistic.
Yes.
Not very nice. You look at Uganda.
Idi Amin
is a total mess. You look even Ethiopia, Marxist.
Socialist, Marxist.
Yeah. You look at Somalia, something else.
Socialist in that initial stages.
Essentially redentist and all those things.
Yeah.
So, and the argument was that Kenya is the only country in the region that is supportive of American positions on policy, and it has no defenses of its own.
Yeah.
It has no shield. That's why Kenyatta gave Kissinger a shield. And it has no spear. So they gave him a spear, and they danced. So now, Munene Yaki then went to Washington. And he started buttonholing the congressmen, because money comes from Congress.
Yes.
And to the authority comes. So Kissinger reportedly, when he heard what Munene was doing, because he knew him, called him, what the hell do you think you are doing? And then he explained, Kenya is the only country in Eastern Africa, Eastern and Central Africa.
Which is firmly in the Western Bloc.
Which is firmly in the Western Bloc and proud of it.
Yeah? And not having any of
no reservation.
Incapable of defending.
Yet, it has no defenses. That was the argument.
Were they second-hand, the F5Es?
No, they were new.
They're brand new?
Yeah. In fact, Munene Yaki, unfortunately, he's gone somewhere else. But there he would explain that thing.
It was very interesting.
Very interesting. So they had a debate, because he was supposed to get two things, jet fighters and a training simulator. He did not get the simulator.
We sent our own pilots to go and...
Yes, he was told, bring your pilots to be trained
in there, yes.
And then they come back with the jets.
Yeah.
Which they fly the jet from the US
to
here. That was the negotiation that took place.
Yes.
So that one was when Kenyatta was still in charge. And Munywa even could joke about how Kenyatta beats ministers. So he didn't want to be beaten, therefore give me the
planes.
Give me the planes and the simulator.
Let's go back now to Moi. Fast forward. After the 82 August coup attempt, 83, Jonjo is out of the scene.
Yes.
Enter General Mohammed and other people who are had played a very prominent
who crashed
role.
the coup.
Who crashed the coup.
Yes.
Almost single-handed, because he went with cooks, I'm told, and handpicked 37 soldiers and went firing himself there.
No, they went there with fake doctors.
Yes, fake doctors, I'm told, some of them.
Because one
And
of
he took a bullet through his heart, that's what I was told. Yeah.
It was very interesting when you talk to some of those who were there.
Yes, yes, yes.
The ones they had, they figured, now how do you get in there?
Yes.
And because there may be some injured people, you take doctors.
Yes.
So they put in the doctors' kabutis, and when there they were let in, and then within a short time they cleared the whole place.
They cleared the whole place.
Yeah.
They cleared. It was right at
It
the
was
front
very,
of them.
very
Surgical,
thinking.
very surgical.
Yes.
Very surgical,
And,
yes. Now,
Moi was happy about it.
Moi was very happy.
Yeah.
Moi's, basically, his administration was saved.
Yes.
And he believed that, among other people, he owed a lot
Yes,
to General Mohammed.
And the people around him.
And the people around him.
Yes.
The situation changed.
Yeah.
The proximity to power now was basically a little bit wider than it was before. Because initially he had to have the mountain all around him, the way we said. He had one side Gigi Kariuki, the other side Charles Njonjo. But systematically, all of them
They were all, there is a feeling that needs to be investigated a little bit.
Yes.
Moi knew about the coup.
Yes.
Huh? Because he was told
Yes.
there is something happening. And the records, if you read them, they say, yes, he knew about it. And the military, the top guys, they knew about it.
Except General Mohammed, I'm told.
Well, the General Mohammed was not at that time at the top.
No, he was number 3 or something like that. He was
Anyway.
number 2 in the army.
In the army?
Yes.
Okay. But you have these others.
Yes, yes.
Mulinge was the top guy.
Mulinge knew, Sawe knew.
They knew.
A number of them
And
knew. The general in the Air Force, Kariuki.
Kariuki knew, and he was warning
Yes.
and saying, let's do something.
Yes.
And I think that's why the court the other day gave him some compensation.
Yes,
because
yes.
he had warned the top guys.
Yes.
Let's do something.
Yes.
Because so the problem was at the top that dilly-dallied. Reasons, well, they say, well, maybe whatever, but they dilly-dallied. And the attempt took place. So the debate is why the dilly-dally? It's not because they did not, they knew. So why the dilly-dally?
The loyalty and a number of
all
things.
those things.
Yes,
so
yes,
maybe, was it calculated to settle some things?
Yes.
And if you are in Jonjo, you say maybe that's what it was.
Fast forward, Jonjo is out of the first place. Kibaki is there.
Yes.
Not in a very exalted way.
Yeah.
Not in a very comfortable, exalted way.
Yeah.
Remember how Mangale said that he talked about him being just focusing on Odaya. On Odaya. And
the issue of political tourism.
Yes. Relationship with Somalia improved.
Yeah.
Sid Barry and Moi became very close friends. And of course, then the only thing that came in now was the fall of the Berlin Wall.
Yes.
The victory of capitalism over communism.
No, not over communism.
Yes.
Over the Soviet system.
Over the Soviet system, yes.
Not over communism.
And a number of things happened, basically, which essentially the East started disintegrating, perestroika, glasnost, and the rest of it. And we had a new narrative. The new narrative right now was human rights, democracy, and all that. And then we began falling on the cross lines.
Yes.
Or what do you call it? Crosshairs of the American...
Of the bosses.
Yeah, of the bosses. Yeah. We are now going through this very powerful transition in terms of the BBI. What do you think is going to be the product of the BBI in your opinion?
First of all, there is confusion as to what BBI is.
Yes. And
in the first place,
yes,
the idea of the BBI is wonderful.
Building Bridges initiative.
Yeah, you know, when the president
idea.
and the former prime minister shook hands and said we want to lower the temperatures, it was wonderful.
Beyond that,
Beyond that, we have small problems. Because how many BBIs do we have now?
too many.
The report that was supposedly handed over at Bombas appears to have been trashed.
Yes.
We have the segment or the factions. The task force has its own opinion, and
the masses have their own opinions.
and the masses have their own, and the politicians. Like you, Mr. Speaker.
Like me, yes.
You have your
I have my
So
very powerful
we have about 4 different factions competing for attention on this BBI thing.
So
So we don't know
the
what
jury is
to
still
have.
out.
The jury is out.
Okay.